Are we waking up from the American dream? Today we're going to be looking at the three factors that is putting the American dream close to extinction. And maybe we'll even find out what we can do about it. Lock in. Graduate high school, get a nice job, buy a house, get married, have some kids maybe. A white picket fence, a dog named Spot or Buster, waving at the next door neighbors while mowing your lawn at 6 in the morning. Hi, Bob. Hi, Jill. How's it going? That's what I was promised. That's what I thought life was going to be like. The American dream. Is it still possible, or has America woken up from its ideal slumber? Today, our story starts in the 1970s. This is around the time my parents were coming out of the womb, kicking and screaming. Even though the economy wasn't kicking as hard as it was in the 1950s post World War II, the American dream was still alive and well back then. The median household income was like 9,800. Adjusted for today, that's about $75,000. Median house prices was like 23K. Adjusted for today, that's about 190K. So buying a house back then was like 2.3 times the yearly income. Compare that to today. A median household income is around 70K. And that's most of the time with like two people working. And the average house price is like $450,000. That means buying a house that was likely built decades ago now costs 6.3 times your yearly income. That's quite the difference. The housing market seems a touch hard to get into. But no worries, I'll just rent, right? Or live with my parents until I can save up enough. I remember I had a friend, he was a little bit older than me, and he went and got an apartment himself. And this wasn't a crazy apartment, cool little one bedroom, you know what I mean, one bathroom. It wasn't like a high rise or anything, just in a decently central location, like 1500 a month. And that 1500 a month, when you compare it to your monthly income, percentage wise, is like starting to creep up to 45% of your overall income in a month. And the problem with that is that you're not necessarily even able to save up for anything of substance within a reasonable amount of time. A lot of people are just opting to not move into these apartments. So if they're not buying houses and not buying rent or not paying for rent, then what are they doing? They're staying at home with their parents. And at a time, it was an insult. Oh, bro, you're probably going to be living at the house with your parents your whole life or whatever the case may be. But now that's just reality. And it's the thought process of many Americans today, at least between the ages of 18 and 24. Statistics show us that nearly 60% of all people within that age group are still living with their parents. And this isn't necessarily by choice, other factors come into play, like needing to meet these crazy rent requirements. Oh, you need to be making three times the rent. Like, gang, I flip burgers. I'm not making three times the rent. You know what I mean? People be like, "Oh, just get a cheaper place." I'd rather feel safe at night. So a lot of people are just staying with their parents, or for example, they have debt to pay off, and it's hard for them to have good credit and stuff when they've already amassed this amount of debt before they've even turned the ripe old age of 25. And what's interesting is the number of people going to college and getting degrees have never been higher. Like there's tons of people doing that. And there have never been more college educated people than there are now. But two things happen when you see an influx of college attendance. Number one, the bar for employment is raised. With so many people holding a bachelor's or an associate's degree, entry level jobs are starting to require them, even jobs that pay slightly minimum wage. Hey, by the way, if you want to be a front of house greeter at Popeyes, yeah, at Popeyes, you gotta have a bachelor's in business. Hmm? Gang, what do I need to analyze the chicken sandwiches? Like, what are you talking about here? Quick story. I remember when I first graduated, I was looking for my first job. And I was on Indeed, which I'm not gonna lie, that's a whole different caveat I'm not gonna even get into. But I'm on Indeed, and these job descriptions are getting too out of hand. It'd be like entry level sales clerk, must have 5 years experience with the Bermuda Triangle. Like, come on, cuz, where are we supposed to get this experience from? Be like professional professional fries bag putter. You know what I'm saying? 3 years of experience with communications. Like, what are you talking about? Floor manager at a warehouse. 10 years of trucking experience required. 30K salary. Like, what is going on? And I felt so, I was so upset and I felt so hopeless for some time because I was like, what am I supposed to do to be able to meet these insane requirements? Like, is there something wrong with what I did? Should I have not gone to college and went straight to getting work experience first? Like, is a internship the only way you're going to be able to get a job? Is or should I just hang it up? Number two, student loan debt. The average borrower is around $35,000 in debt. Like, how are you supposed to build something? How are you supposed to start amassing wealth and setting yourself up for your late stage life if you're already starting off on the wrong foot? And even when they graduate, they're starting with negative net worth. Before saving for a house, before investing, before building wealth, they're already paying monthly loans needed to take the jobs that historically pay just above minimum wage. And I felt this personally. I know when I graduated, not even a few months later, I got an email talking about, hey, by the way, you need to start paying on your student loans now. Geez, cuz let me take a few breaths. Like, you know what I'm saying? And now these are starting to add up like no other. And to the point where I go to pay on it and all I'm paying on is interest. Like the principal isn't going down. So the money that I actually owe is not decreasing when I pay on it. Just the money that they added on top of the money that I owe them for taking it out in the first place to be able to get the degree to get the job. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't really make too much sense. We have to ask ourselves what's responsible for this situation. Why are we even playing this game? And that's a great question, and the answer is there's actually a few factors, and I've identified three. Number one is globalization. A lot of jobs that would have been American held are now being outsourced to overseas. So for example, Timu, like Timu, you can get a forklift, you could get a Lamborghini for 13.99 with shipping. You know what I'm saying? But all of those people who are manufacturing and doing the delivery and the packaging of those products are all outsourced. These companies are using foreign labor as a means to cut costs, and this is taking jobs away from American citizens and also reducing the number of jobs available. Another factor is going to be automation. A lot of middle class jobs where you could just, sit around, your whole job was just sit around and make sure the budget looked right. You know what I'm saying? Your whole job was to make double check payroll numbers. You know what I mean? Your whole job was to manage inventory. But now all of these things are being replaced by software and AI to the point where these jobs are being lost. And then number three, policy shifts. A lot of policy written by our legislation is favoring big big business, you know what I mean? And it's favoring capital accumulation, it's favoring the stockholders of these companies, it's favoring the owners rather than the actual people that need jobs to put food on the table, rather than the actual people who are looking for work. And these three factors are squeezing the middle class and creating one of the biggest wealth disparities we've seen in modern times. So now the question is the American dream dead? To that, I would say it depends on what you're dreaming about. Times have changed. Things are not the same as they were 25 years ago, but that comes with good and bad. But one thing we can say for sure is we can't give up. Just because things seem stacked against us doesn't mean rolling over and playing dead is an option. Things aren't too far gone or out of reach. We can still live a fulfilling, happy life, but will things take longer to get to that point where you could feel fulfilled and happy, financially at least? Yeah, probably. Are the odds in our favor? Not necessarily. But a few nightmares never stopped you from going to sleep. As long as we keep dreaming and pursuing the life that we want, things will things will turn out okay. But if you've resonated with this message, I would greatly appreciate you subscribing to the channel and liking the video. and comment what you have done or what you think or how your dream has changed in lieu of our current situation. I'm so grateful for everyone who watches and supports. This is E. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.